Okay, here we are back in the Brecon Beacons, the central beacons. We're going to camp tonight, Cefn Sands. It's a 462 or 460 metre hill just above Merthyr Tydfil, sort of directly below Pen y Fan, Corndee and Cribin. So some really nice views from up there. It's a two and a bit mile walk up there, so not too bad. I was going to be up in mid-Wales this weekend doing some new mountains with a friend, but sadly my car is stuck in the garage, which is why I've had to come local and do this, and why I'm leaving quite late in the evening. But it's a nice walk. I've got a brand new backpack. Well, when I say brand new, it was used from Facebook, cost me 20 quid, so we'll have a quick look at that. And yeah, we'll crack on and get walking, and we'll get set up. That's Cefn Sands in the distance. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's two little lumps on top. One of them is a stone shelter, the other one's just a pile of stones. And then there's a tiny little trig point you can just about see on the left of the left pile of stones. So we're going to head up there, but we've got to cut round to the left because that section in front is all private land. So the public land is on the left, and it's actually a right of way that cuts across to the left of that land as well. So we've got to go around a slightly longer way, but it's a nice pleasant grassy walk, although it's pretty boggy at the start here, which is going to be really interesting because they give rain from about midnight onwards, then really heavy all day Sunday. So I'll be packing up in the rain, heading back on this really boggy part in the pouring rain as well. So that'll be interesting. There's the classic view from South Wales, Corndee, Pen y Fan, right in the central beacons, the highest point obviously being Pen y Fan, highest point in South Wales. And then just to the right here, we're going to cut to the right of this next hill, which is Garndee. That's 462 metres. It's not marked by anything. I think it's probably an okay spot to wildcamp if I recall correctly. It's pretty smooth and grassy on top. And again, nice views of the beacons, but we're going to follow this path around in between those two lumps. Not sure if it was controlled burning, but there's been fires here, and you can see in the distance a nice lot of smoke from fires on the other side of the valley. Again, not sure whether that's controlled burning or someone's just set fire to it. I would say, judging by the helicopter flying over, it's probably not controlled burn, it's probably a case of arson. So they must be really pleased that the weather forecast is coming in with pretty much torrential rain all day tomorrow, so that's going to put that out. But it's getting pretty close to quite a big forestry over there. So you can get a sense of scale in some of these shots in terms of just how bleak and empty sometimes the beacons can be. So in the distance there is Cefn which is an outlying mountain in the beacons. It's south of Pen y Fan as well. It's 613 metres, I think. Really nice little mountain. And then to the right of that, you've got the tops of the South Wales valleys. So I think the high point on the left is Mynydd Carn y Cefn, and then you've got probably Dyman Far, Mynydd Bydwawty. So the tops of the valleys kind of taper off. It drops down. There's a big dual carriageway that cuts through that middle section, and then you end up in the Brecon Beacons National Park, and it's lots of moorland and scrubland for a long way until you hit Cefn which is the first mountain. And then obviously you head north from there and you get into the central beacons. You get into your Cribbins, Vanibig, Corndee, Pen y Fan, all the rest of it. So that kind of gives you a little bit of indication of where we are. And on the right hand side there is the hill we're aiming for. So 460 metres, a nice interesting top, so we'll crack up before it gets dark. The mountain in the distance there between this sort of valley is Fan Her. So that's to the left of Story Arms, so the other side of the road from Pen y Fan. And then you've got the route which we've just taken around the edge of those trees, and then this quite steep little path as we approach the top of this hill. So it's a really nice walk. Pretty decent paths. I think it's farmer quad bike trails, a lot of it, but not that frequently used. I don't think you'll see many people on these paths. I've seen 3 people so far, and they were all coming down from the direction of Pen y Fan, not from this direction. So they've probably been up in the central beacons and heading back to the car. You would rarely see people in these foothills. A little bit higher up now, so you can see just the top of Cribbin, Pen y Fan, Corndee. Really impressive mountains. And as normally happens when you're walking off the beaten track in the beacons a bit, you just end up following sheep trails the further away you get from civilization. But these aren't too bad as far as sheep trails go. Oh, here we are. This is hopefully our home for this evening. Hoping I can pitch somewhat next to the trig point. From my recollection and from the photos I took last time, looks to be reasonably smooth and grassy up there. Plus you can see there's quite a few stones as well, so we might have a bit of issue getting some pegs in. You can also see it's quite scarred by recent fires as well, but that's not made it quite to the top of the hill by the looks of it. So we'll just have to have a quick look and see where we can pitch. Oh, here we are at the trig point, 460 metres. And yeah, it's not too bad an evening for it really. Loads of smoke blowing over this direction from that big fire. Down there, which I'll show you in a bit, is Merthyr Tydfil. So there's going to be a lot of light, a lot of civilization that you can see from up here. But it looks like there's lots of places where it's going to be good to pitch a tent. But before I do, I'm going to show you this new backpack I've got, which you can see on today. It was 20 quid. It's the OEX Valo 7080. So off of Facebook Marketplace, a really cheap bag. Pretty much brand new condition, still got its rain cover. Actually, there was a second rain cover in it for a 20 to 35 litre bag, still in its wrapping as well, so a little bonus there. But I'll just take you through just really briefly what the pack is like, and then we'll get the tent pitched. Okay, so this is the new bag, OEX Valo 70 to 80 litre backpack. It's pretty good, pretty solid, plenty of space in it, although I managed to have pretty much filled it. It's weighing about 14 kilos at the moment. But obviously I've got a second camera in there, I've got a decent sized tripod. I've got my Nordisk Svalbard 1PU tent on top as well. I've got a obviously sleeping bag, sleeping mat, all the rest of it in there, bits and pieces and other bits of gear. But again, just showing you what's available out there. So actually, if I was to use this backpack with my my £100 gear, it would take it from £99.30 down to £94.30 because it's £5 cheaper than the actual Valo 50 to 60 I picked up. So yeah, really good deal. I did mention in a previous video that I had bought a different tent as well. I did buy a Jack Wolfskin Gossamer 1 sort of hybrid bivvy tent. I got that for 80 quid off of eBay, and it's absolutely immaculate condition from what I can see so far. Really nice tent, really good specs on it, and it was 80 quid including delivery, and it looks pretty much brand new condition. I can't even see a mark on the ground sheet. But unfortunately, my car's in the garage and that tent is in the boot of my car, so I was gonna do a video about that tent tonight as well, but I'll leave that for another day. So yeah, we're in the little stone shelter up here, which is quite nice. So there are signs of cigarette butts and stuff up here, so it is definitely visited. But I've not seen a sign of anybody this evening, so I imagine it's going to be just me. So yeah, we'll go and find a place to pitch up and get the tent set up. So you can see Merthyr Tydfil down there, sort of a bit hazy due to the smoke, which you can see coming from over in the west. And then we got the trig point, the stone shelter and the sunset, and then swinging round to north we've obviously got the central beacons. You can see pretty much the whole Ridgeway walk from here. So yeah, it's a nice spot. I knew this was a good hill. Right, I think I'm going to pitch here, so let's chuck the tent up. Well, tent is pitched. That was not an easy pitch at all. Nice bit of grass, but there's so many rocks underneath the surface. Trying to get the pegs in was an absolute nightmare, and there's a couple in it that are just really not in very well at all. So I'm hoping the wind's not going to get too much tonight, because it's not that robust with the really hard ground underneath. Not much of a sunset. It's pretty cloudy now. It's getting quite cold as well. So I'm going to start unpacking the stuff, get all the stuff in the tent, and yeah, get some extra layers on as well because it's pretty cold. Well, finally got all the stuff in the tent. The time lapse will show you just how long it took me. So if we were doing this walk the other way around and I was having to pitch a tent in the rain and get all set up in the rain, I think things would be absolutely soaked by now. So I need to get better practice at pitching this tent, and obviously need to be in an area where it's easy to get the pegs in the ground would be a great start. But obviously tomorrow morning it's going to be chucking with rain from about midnight onwards, and they don't give any let up at all. So I'm going to be packing away in the rain. So I think everything really in terms of the tent's going to get soaking wet. So the plan is just to get packed up inside the tent in terms of the backpack, get everything into the dry bags, get the waterproof cover on the backpack, get out, just whack the tent down, chuck it in the tent bag, strap it to the top of my backpack, and then head back to the car. But I recorded a short section video ages ago, which I've not put up yet, because I bought some regatta gear to test. It was in a massive sale, so I got this sort of insulated jacket that's supposed to be waterproof, and I got a pair of waterproof regatta trousers as well. So it'd be interesting to see how they fare tomorrow. So I'm going to wear them back to the car because it is going to be absolutely chucking with rain all the way back. So we'll just see how they hold up. This is actually really quite a nice jacket. It's like £100 down to sort of $24.95. Feels really well made. Feels really nice. It's pretty warm. Obviously it's only going to be used when it's cold, as a waterproof because it's just far too hot most of the time. But I'm figuring it's downhill and pretty level back to the car, so I shouldn't get too warm, despite the fact I'm carrying a stupidly heavy bag. So a couple of things I've purchased. I bought some Nordisk moss down slippers, and I got them in a very fetching orange to match my other gear. So they weigh about 165, 185 grams. So they're pretty light, and they're quite good slipper things. So they're designed so that you can wear them in your sleeping bag, you can wear them if you're in a bothy, you can wear them around the house if you really want to. But that you can actually get out of the tent at night wearing them and then get straight back into the tent. Obviously I won't be doing that if it's raining because I don't want to get my sleeping bag soaking wet. But they're pretty nice. Obviously they don't pack down very small, but yeah, I like Nordisk products. I think they always seem to be really good quality, so looking forward to getting those on in a minute. Another thing I bought was an animator, so a little wind gauge device, just to give me a bit more of an idea about what some of the wind speeds are when I'm doing these camps. Join Me Outdoors recommended this one, so I'll link to his YouTube channel down below, but he's used it quite a bit, and sort of based on his kind of physical experience of how hard the wind's blowing, it seems to be reasonably accurate. So it's only $16.99, so you can't really go wrong, and it's quite compact as well, so it's not going to take up too much weight. So yeah, I'm just going to chill out, have a little bit of food, and yeah, it's pretty cold now, so I'll just take in some views, and yeah, wait for the rain to start. Well, it's rained pretty much all night. It started raining about 10:30. Didn't really get heavy till about 3 a.m. But it's rained solidly since then, and it's set to rain all day. They do give a bit of drizzle from 8 a.m, so I might try and get out and pack up at that point. But the tent's done really well. It hasn't leaked at all. No condensation, despite there not being much of a breeze last night. Yeah, really good little tent, this one. Quite cosy in here. I was really warm as well. It's only a Sea to Summit Trek 1 sleeping bag, so it's not actually that warm, but I was really toasty last night, just in a t-shirt and shorts. Got a sleeping bag liner in. They seem to make a big difference in terms of keeping the warm air against your body more directly. So yeah, I'm going to give my ancient GoPro a go this morning because of the rain, and yeah, this is the worst bit about this kind of tent, this inner pitch first though, is that I've got to try and pack away everything inside the tent, get it all in the bag and secure and waterproof, and then get out and take the tent down knowing that the inner's going to get quite wet anyway because you're taking the outer off and then messing about with poles and pegs and stuff. So yeah, not the best for a multi-day trek, I wouldn't have thought, if it was going to be bad weather. Anyway, I'm going to start packing up the gear. Good morning. As you can probably tell, we're no longer in the Brecon Beacons on a walk on a misty grey day. We're back in the house. You may have heard me talking about the fact I was going to give an old GoPro a go on the walk out, because obviously I normally shoot most of my footage with my full frame Sony camera, because I was mainly really a photographer. I never did any kind of video. So when I started a YouTube channel, I thought, right, I'll just use the existing gear that I've got. So that's why I'm always carrying so much stuff. This is quite a compact little camera, but it's pretty heavy. It's got some weather sealing, but not enough for me to trust going out in bad weather with it, which is why I bought a little GoPro Hero 3 Plus Silver off of Facebook for 50 quid with a few little bits and pieces. So I gave that a go on the walk out, and I learned two things. One, I quite like the walk and talk, you know, holding the little tripod and talking and stuff. I think that's quite effective. And two, this device on its own will pick up almost zero audio from my voice. So all of the footage I shot really of me talking and walking and on the walk out and stuff and the close in the video is just pretty much unusable. I can probably salvage the audio if I spent long enough trying to, but it's just fighting a losing battle really. There's so many of the sounds it was picking up rather than my voice. So yeah, that's why I'm recording the outro to this now. So yeah, a learning experience. So I have gone online, back to Facebook Marketplace actually, and I've ordered myself an Acaso Brave 7, which was £97 including delivery, and looks pretty much brand new. That's supposed to have an okay internal mic on it, and it's waterproof without having to use the case, so the internal mic should still work, and it also supports external mics as well, so I can plug in a little lavalier one to it and just blue tack up the mic port for bad weather. So yeah, I'm going to give that a go on the next video, but I'm going to stick with the big cameras as well, primarily because I really like the quality that they give, especially for like the time lapses and stuff. I shoot all the time lapses not as videos, I shoot them as images, so I'll take like 990 photos in a time lapse and then I'll put them together as a video on the computer. So, you know, I like the quality I've got from that. I think I want to obviously get better as a filmmaker, sort of finding those angles that look nice and stuff and effective, because I know I've got some decent gear. It's just about using it properly. So yeah, hopefully going to get out next week in a new tent, the Jack Wolfskin Gossamer 1, little sort of bivvy tent hybrid. So that was 80 quid including delivery off of eBay. And the good thing with that one is obviously my really cheap £25 Van Gogh Tango tent, that was probably a one-off. You're never going to find a tent of that quality for 25 quid. But actually with the Jack Wolfskin, I've seen loads of them for second hand for about 80 quid, and the one I've got is absolutely mint condition as well. So please stick around, subscribe to the channel, drop me a like. Really appreciate every single comment, like and subscriber so far. It's been absolutely amazing to break 100 subscribers, and obviously the more gear I collect along the way, hopefully I have some really good giveaways if we can ever hit that magic 1,000 subscriber mark. So yeah, stick around for the next video, and if you've made it this far, hugely appreciated, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.